What am I hearing?
I bring good news to you. There will be a dance competition soon. Every maiden must dance and stand a chance to be selected as the prince's wife.
So the prince will marry one of us.
Chioma, go and prepare or you'll definitely be the princess.
Did you hear what the royal messenger announced? Please tell me.
In a land where princes were only seen from afar, hidden behind veils and escorts, this was more than a celebration. It was destiny knocking loudly on every wooden door. The king's message was clear: every maiden of age must dance before the prince. No titles, no gifts, no influence. Only dance, only grace, only what the heart revealed through the body. And in that moment, every family with a daughter felt chosen by the gods. Within days, the village transformed. Courtyards became rehearsal grounds. Dust rose in clouds as bare feet learned new rhythms. Mothers argued over fabrics, measuring cloth against hope. Jewelers polished beads until they shone like captured sunlight. Girls practiced until their legs trembled, spinning before cracked mirrors, imagining crowns where headscarves once sat. Some laughed too loudly, already tasting victory. Others cried in secret, afraid their steps were not enough. Friendships shifted. Compliments hardened into competition. Whispers sharpened. Cliques formed like invisible fences, and inside them, cruelty learned how to dance. In one courtyard, two girls fought openly, nails and insults flying, because one had copied the other's steps. In another, a mother slapped her daughter's back and hissed, "Straighten your shoulders. Do you want to shame us before royalty?" Pride was rising. So was fear. And somewhere at the edge of all this noise lived a girl who had not moved at all. Her name was Kosi. While others counted beats, she counted firewood. While girls practiced spins, she scrubbed pots by the stream. She was known for quiet hands and a softer heart, for helping old women fetch water and sharing grain when harvest failed. She smiled easily, listened deeply, worked without complaint. Yet when the announcement came, Kosi did not look up. She did not imagine silk or crowns. She did not dream of the prince. She only tightened the knot of her wrapper and returned to work. Her parents tried gently. "This is a blessing," her mother said one evening, touching her shoulder. "Even to be seen by royalty is honor." Her father said nothing, but his eyes carried a wish he did not dare speak. Kosi shook her head. She said she was not interested. She said she was not ready. But the truth sat heavier in her chest. Growing up, other children had taught her a cruel lesson. They mocked her skin, said it drank too much sun. They laughed that beauty belonged only to those whose faces glowed like morning light. Over time, their voices became hers. She learned to believe that fair meant beautiful and dark meant invisible. So when people spoke of queens, she never saw herself in the picture. The rehearsals went on without her, and the girls noticed. Some shrugged. Some smiled with relief. 3 of them, who had never forgiven Kosi for being kind when they were cruel, laughed openly. "Good," one said. "The throne doesn't need a shadow." Kosi heard none of it. She stayed home, humming softly as she walked, cheering silently for others. Days before the main event, something shifted. Her mother sat beside her at dusk, holding her hand longer than usual. "When I was your age," she said, "I wasn't afraid of failing. I was afraid of being seen." Kosi said nothing. Then her father spoke from the doorway, voice low. "Courage isn't believing you're the best. It's stepping forward even when you think you're not." That night, sleep avoided her. Distant drums followed her into darkness. She remembered how she once danced alone as a child, free because nobody watched. Before dawn, trembling, she made a decision that terrified her more than any insult ever had. When Kosi appeared at the rehearsal ground, silence fell, then laughter. Heads turned. Whispers rushed ahead of her like arrows. What did she come to do? Even her. The three girls stepped forward, blocking her path, smiles sharp as broken glass. The dance floor is for those who can shine, one said, eyes lingering cruelly on Kosi's skin. Go back to the kitchen. It climbed her neck, but she did not stop. She bowed politely and walked around them. Her hands shook. Her feet found their place. When the music began, she followed slowly, missing steps, correcting herself, refusing to meet the eyes waiting for her to fail. They laughed when she stumbled, whispered when she hesitated. But she stayed. Day after day, she returned. Blisters formed, broke, hardened into strength. She did not answer insults. She did not fight back. She only danced. Without noticing, something changed. Her movements softened, then sharpened. Her hands learned stories. Her feet learned courage. The laughter grew quieter. Some girls began to watch in secret. But Kosi still did not believe. Each night, she returned home exhausted, convinced she was still the worst among them. When the final rehearsal ended and the day of choosing stood one sunrise away, fear returned like a storm. What if she embarrassed herself? What if laughter drowned the drums? What if her mother's hope broke because of her? She decided she would not go. But dawn came too quickly. Her mother dressed her in simple cloth, tied her hair carefully, kissed her forehead like a blessing sent into battle. The village square on the D-Day looked nothing like home. Royal fabrics waved in the air. Guards stood tall, spears catching the sun. The prince sat beside his parents, distant, unreadable. One by one, maidens danced. The crowd clapped, whispered, judged. Kosi waited at the back, heart pounding so loudly she feared it would answer her name. Questions attacked her mind. Will I fail? Will they laugh? When only a few names remained, she turned toward home. Then she heard it. Kosi. Her mother's voice rose, trembling but strong. You can do it. Kosi froze, caught between running and staying. Then the drums began to beat her name. And she stepped forward. The first drum beat landed like a question. The second like a warning. By the third, Kosi was already moving. She did not know when fear loosened its grip, only that her body answered the sound before her thoughts could stop it. The circle widened as she stepped into it, dust curling around her ankles, the entire village leaning forward without realizing it. The music was slow, uncertain, as if even the drums were unsure of her. For a breath, she hesitated. Faces blurred. Royal guards stood like statues. The prince sat unmoving, unreadable. Then something ancient stirred inside her. Something that remembered nights dancing alone, barefoot, unseen, unjudged. Her feet struck the earth, firm and sure. Her arms lifted, not practiced, not rehearsed, but honest. And the drums changed. They quickened, recognizing her. So did the air. Kosi danced as though she had been waiting her whole life to be heard. Her movements were not neat, they were alive. She spun, low and fast, then rose suddenly, arms slicing the space above her head. Dust followed her like smoke from a blessing. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The maidens who had rehearsed for weeks forgot their steps entirely, watching with open mouths. The drums stopped abruptly. So did the world. Silence swallowed the square. Kosi stood still, chest heaving, sweat tracing lines down her dark skin, dust clinging to her feet like proof she had been there. Then she felt it rise on her. Not the crowds. One pair. Steady. Unblinking. The prince leaned forward, hands gripping the arm of his seat, as if afraid she would vanish if he did not anchor himself to the moment. The king whispered something to the queen. The queen did not answer. She was smiling. Her legs trembled, then gave way, and she sank onto the ground, dizzy, unsure if she had imagined everything. Her mother rushed to her, hands shaking, holding her face. "You did it," she whispered again and again. Kosi shook her head. "I only danced." Inside her, fear still lived. Applause was not a crown. Kosi waited at the edge of the square, half hidden behind her mother, already preparing herself to return to the life she knew. Then the drums returned, slow, formal, royal. The prince stood. Every heart followed him as he walked, not toward the center where decorated girls waited, but toward the back, toward dust, toward simplicity, toward the girl who had almost run away. Kosi felt her mother's fingers tighten painfully around her arm. She tried to step back, but her body refused. The prince stopped in front of her. For a breath, the village forgot how to exist. Then he bowed. The sound that followed was not applause, it was shock. "A prince bows," someone whispered. The prince lifted his head. His voice was calm. "What is your name?" Kosi swallowed. "Kosi." He repeated it slowly, like a promise. "When you danced, you forgot the world," he said. "And when you forgot the world found you." He turned to the king. "This is the woman I choose." For one suspended second, nothing happened. Then the queen clapped once. The king nodded. And the village exploded. Cries. Laughter. Prayers. Disbelief colliding at once. Kosi's mother dropped to her knees. Her father covered his face and wept without shame. The three girls stood frozen, dreams collapsing in silence. The prince reached for her hand, not claiming, not commanding, just offering. She looked down at their hands wrapped in silk, hair still dusty, and for the first time in her life, she did not see shame there. She saw belonging. As the crowd continued to roar, Kosi lifted her head and met the prince's eyes. And in that sound, the village understood something it had never been taught, that beauty had been standing among them all along, walking, serving, doubting, waiting. Years later, mothers would tell their daughters this story. Not of the prince who chose a wife, but of the girl who chose courage. They would say the darkest skin in the village once carried the brightest destiny. And somewhere, in a quiet moment, Kosi would remember the day she almost turned back. Because sometimes, destiny waits at the edge of fear. And the only way to meet it is to dance forward anyway. You've been watching Dabi's Tales, because every story deserves a voice.